As many in the public know, the California Attorney General, rampant, requested a 60-day pause in the sale of the Angel Stadium because the FBI is investigating our own mayor for public corruption allegations. In particular, there is evidence, as was said, damning evidence, that the mayor conducted the Angel Stadium negotiations and sale process for his own re-election benefit, including the evidence of bribery, wire fraud, false statements, obstruction of justice, and witness tampering. These actions are disheartening because they are a direct violation of trust that our residents place on us as their elected officials. When residents vote for their candidates, they do so with the belief that those elected to power will utilize their power to advocate on behalf of the common good of the public, not to abuse their power and trust placed upon them for their own gain at the expense of the common good, as the FBI is alleging. I'd also like to express my utter disappointment that a matter as serious as this development was not agendized for tonight's City Council meeting. Although this development is clearly still recent, I know that our city has emergency powers to agendize matters of major importance. I recall that on April 26th, the City Council agendized a special meeting to discuss the stipulated judgment with the California Attorney General regarding the stadium disputed Surplus Land Act violation almost immediately after the judgment came to light, within 24 hours. For the sake of transparency and good faith in our governing, I would urge that we should have agendized this item to publicly discuss the city's approach to this matter as much as we are legally bound to. I know the public would very much be interested in hearing us discuss this, and it is the right to do so in the name of transparency, so I appreciate the motion to agendize this next week. Whatever the outcome of the FBI's investigation, is into our mayor's actions, I only hope that the truth and full accountability will come to light for the sake of the common good for all those implicated in this investigation. In the absence of agendizing this topic, I and the public at large are left with many questions. The City Public Information Office stated to the press, "We are surprised and dismayed by what has been shared with us," said Mike Lister, spokesman for the City of Anaheim. "We take this matter and the issues raised seriously. While allegations, they are troubling nonetheless. As we look to see this process play out, we will determine what this means for the stadium plan in the days ahead." And our city manager stated, we will continue to evaluate what this means and how to move forward in the best interest of our city. My question, who is the we in these statements? From who or whom is city administration getting direction absent a full council review and discussion on this matter? Is the city administration meeting with the mayor about next steps related to the stadium deal? And if so, I would ask you to cease from having such meetings absent the entire council being present. As stated by FBI Special Agent Atkins, quote, "Thus, although I submit that there is probable cause that evidence of Sidhu's prior deletion of evidence and related violations of the target offenses will be found from the searches requested herein, I also submit that there is probable cause to believe that the evidence of further violations of the target offenses post-dating February 8, 2022 meeting may be found, such as acts of deletion, concealment, or falsification of evidence. To this end, the FBI affidavit, as submitted to the courts by FBI Special Agent Atkins, raises disturbing questions about the nature of transactions made under the mayor's discretion with acquiescence by his council majority over the past 3.5 years. The mayor proudly referred to my council majority. These include the Chamber of Commerce received over $400,000 in contracts, and I'm first, a creation of the mayor and Chamber of Commerce CEO Todd Ament, the witness that was wiretapped, received over $250,000. As a means of restoring trust and out of an abundance of caution, I urge city administration to cut these contracts immediately. Given the auspicious nature of the mayor and Chamber of Commerce leadership in abusing public taxpayer dollars for their own gains. In addition, I ask for a full financial audit of the use of these funds and any contracts connected to Mayor Sidhu's political donors. I remind our council that our previous city manager, Chris ZAPATA, sent us a memo seeking to reduce or cut these contracts in April 2020, which may have in part led to the mayor's sudden agendizing of removing Mr. ZAPATA, costing city taxpayers close to $500,000 in severance pay. Still more troubling is that, and I'm almost there, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Still more troubling is that the affidavit includes a transcript conversation which seems to imply that at least one Anaheim employee and a former employee were aware of and may have participated in these nefarious actions in violation of federal law and the public trust. I have sent an email to our city manager inquiring about this and hope to get a response as soon as possible. Since I have not heard back today, I ask our city attorney to launch an independent investigation by an outside firm to investigate the extent to which Anaheim staff were involved in participated in, or were party to the mayor, the Chamber of Commerce, and political consultants' illegal and unethical behavior. To our Anaheim staff, this hurts. Please know that for me, this is not an indictment of you and your integrity. Rather, I find this necessary to assure that your names and that your reputations are not unnecessarily smeared due to this tragic circumstance, and so that as council members and the public, we can begin to restore trust in City Hall. We must all be assured that this was isolated to the mayor and his cronies. Lastly, I'm left to wonder, after seeking to agendize the stadium deal, the stadium appraisal, and review of city financial issues, is this why the council majority changed council rules on agendizing, requiring 3 members to agendize items? Or why they refused to agendize discussions about the stadium deal as it was progressing and being investigated by the state? Given that the root of this appears to be the undue influence and unsatiable thirst for campaign donations for electoral campaigns, what other quid pro quo arrangements have been made in our city that has directly benefited those who provided hundreds of thousands of dollars to elect Mayor Sidhu and his quote-unquote council majority? Is this why the mayor and Trevor O'Neill, with the council majority's acquiescence, so quickly tabled and shelved by proposed campaign finance ordinance in March 2019? An ordinance that would have required the mayor and council members to recuse themselves for 12 months after an election from any votes benefiting a campaign donor, including donors to PACs that support them. Limited campaign fundraising to the year of the actual election, and would have only allowed fundraising for campaign debt relief for up to 6 months after the election. The mayor entered with $150,000 in campaign debt. He paid that off within a year because of campaign debt fundraisers. In closing, I'd like to repeat my request this evening. I ask the city administration to immediately cut all financial ties to the Chamber of Commerce and Anaheim First as a subsidiary of the Chamber, with an ensuing investigation or financial audit of these entities and any contracts awarded to Mayor Sidhu's political donors, to assure that no improprieties have taken place leading to these contracts in the use of taxpayer dollars. I ask our city attorney to launch an independent investigation to investigate the extent, if any, to which Anaheim staff were involved in, participated in, or were party to Mayor Sidhu, the Chamber of Commerce, and political consultants' illegal and unethical behavior as outlined in FBI Special Agent Atkins' affidavit. Lastly, I plan to ask at our next council meeting to ask for council member support to reintroduce or bring back off the table the campaign finance ordinance to mitigate the undue influence of money in the governance of our city. And in the meantime, colleagues, residents, SOAR, Disney's PAC, has already raised $1.4 million as of January 2022. So I ask Disney formally to please cease all campaign donations to our elections in Anaheim and any other corporate PAC donors, to allow the people of Anaheim to truly elect the people that is best for them. Thank you, colleagues, for the indulgence of the extra time.
Thank you, Councilmember Moreno.